Welcome to Kazakhstan and its largest city, Almaty, for this instalment of Judo for the World. The 2016 Almaty Grand Prix is the last open qualifying tournament before Rio, so the athletes were preparing for a make-or-break weekend for their Olympic dreams. And as expected, the atmosphere was intense and emotions were running high. In this episode, we'll feature the home nation and follow some of their stars as they bid for gold on home soil. We'll have a look at how judo in Kazakhstan has changed since it hosted the World Championships last year. And we'll step away from the World Tour to see how judo is helping transform the lives of young children in the town of Kilis on the Turkish-Syrian border. But we start with the lightest male weight of under 60 kilograms, where one of the home nation's brightest young stars was in action. Last year's world silver medalist and current world number 7, Ibraev. Having never reached the final of this event before, he was keen to make an impression. He started strongly, throwing Georgia's Brolashvili with Sumigaeshi before securing an ippon scoring hold. Next up was an even better Sumigaeshi against China's Am. Ibraev was looking good. His quarter-final opponent was his teammate Imeshev, who he dispatched with a driving Uchimata. And in the semi-final, it was Sumigaeshi again, but this time straight into Juji Gatami. The gold medal was tantalisingly close. But on the other side of the draw, 20-year-old Italian Manzi was making a last-minute Olympic charge. Having dispatched Frenchman Lemaire, he then put away home favourite Telmanov in style. Could he stop Ibraev and book himself an Olympic ticket? Your commentator is former world champion Neil Adams.
Well, Ibraev going forwards. World silver medalist Ibraev, got to be absolute favourite for this, but young Manzi doing incredible at this competition. Oh, Chigari! Oh, and he gets a Yuko for that. And he's in the lead. There's the driving Ouchi. Brilliant stuff from the young Italian, and Ibraev now got to come from behind. Tries the Uchimata and the Sumigaeshi. Oh, he's onto the arm! And Manzi just manages to pull it in. Marius Visa, the president of the IJF, just looking on, loving this match. I'm thinking what talent we've got here with Manzi. Now he's got his grip. Oh, Sianagi as well! Yuko scored, and that was brilliant. Just 40 seconds to go here, and Ibraev in all sorts of trouble. Well, he's got to win this to qualify for the Olympic Games, but he'd never have believed it, nor would we, and he's done it. Manzi has qualified for the Olympic Games. He cannot believe it, and this man here was well beaten. 2 Yukos to the young Italian, and he's done the absolutely impossible. He's won this tournament, and he is now well and truly on his way to the Olympic Games in Rio de Janeiro. Brilliant performance, and we're going to see a lot more of this young man, that's for sure. There's the Ouchi, the first Yuko. There's the drop Sianagi, both of them dropping Ibraev onto his side. 2 Yukos, and he is the champion here in Almaty.
So Ibraev would have to settle for silver, as it was in the country's capital, Astana, at the World Championships last year, when both he and his teammate Smetov reached the final, guaranteeing Kazakhstan a world champion. The crowd were on their feet as Smetov overcame his compatriot to become only the second person to win a world title representing Kazakhstan. And with the world's media watching, it has had a lasting effect on the country.
After the staging of the 2015 World Championships in Astana, there was a huge increase in the popularity of judo in Kazakhstan. Many new athletes and names appeared in our sport. Judo has started developing in small regions and cities now. The hosting of Kazakhstan's first Judo World Championships in history has been a hugely positive thing for the country.
During the event, Mr. Marius Vizar, president of the IJF, officially opened a new state-of-the-art Kazakhstan Judo Academy alongside Mr. Arstyanbek Muhammadjuli, the Minister of Culture and Sports of the Republic of Kazakhstan. Another step in the right direction for ever-improving Kazakh judo. And there was gold for Kazakhstan in Almaty, as at under 48 kilograms, Galbadrak moved up to world number 3, as the Kazakh flag flew the highest. Galbadrak is now one of Kazakhstan's best hopes for a medal come Rio. At under 52 kilograms, the final was between Baku Grand Slam champion Cohen of Israel and Switzerland's Chop. Having thrown Cohen for a Wazari, Chop then secured Osokomi and held on for gold. The win moved her up 9 places in the world rankings and earned her a place at the Olympic Games. The strength and depth of the French squad was on show in the female middleweights, as both Pinot and Gay took gold at under 63 kilograms and under 70 kilograms. And there was another last-minute Rio qualifier at under 78 kilograms, as Zhang defeated Kazakhstan's Amanga Dilieva in the final. And at plus 78 kilograms, Ortiz claimed top spot to cement her place as world number 2. Favourite for gold in the women's under 57 kilogram category was France's Autumn Pavia. Fresh from a win at the European Championships, she was in Almaty looking to build momentum and ensure her Olympic selection ahead of domestic rival Resovo. She started well, a thunderous Osotogari against Switzerland's Amaron, seeing her through her opening contest. Kazakhstan's Nishanbayeva went the same way in Pavia's next bout, as she looked to be finding her stride. But in her semi-final match against Spain's Equiasane, Pavia went for broke and got countered. Equiasane hitting her own Osotogari to flatten the favourite and book herself a place in the final. Pavia would have to recompose herself to contest a bronze medal against Verhagen of the Netherlands.
Pavia has to win this to go ahead of Rosevu from her own country, still trying to qualify for the Olympics, and Pavia, surprise defeat in that semi-final. Now can she do it against Verhagen? Verhagen coming back after injury! Yes, she can! Oh, that was almost a Tewaza, wasn't it? Verhagen attacks, and it was body movement and hands that took Verhagen over, and she scores an ippon, and that puts her ahead of Rosevu. Surely that means now that Pavia will be going to the Games.
Facing off against Equiasane in the final would be Poland's Arleta Podolak, for whom a win would mean one hand on a ticket to Rio this summer. Her elimination saw her up to the challenge, as she showed a real threat on the ground, defeating Israel's Nelson Levy with this flashy armlock. With this perhaps the last chance for a ranking boost, the stakes for these two Olympic hopefuls could not have been higher.
Well, Podolak has had an amazing tournament. Now then, that's going to be a big score. Wazari scored. Podolak on top. Superb Sianagi that was. Right the way underneath there. Look at the drive she gets. Nothing drop about that. So Podolak, well ahead. Ekisoan has to come forwards. She'll have to be careful though. 9 seconds left. Oh, look at that! Hizigatami! Oh, beautiful arm lock. What an opportune arm lock that was. It was an attack by Ekisoan, and Podolak took the opportunity. Hizigatami, and she applies the arm lock there to win the gold medal. Classical stuff there from the pole. Podolak wins the gold medal. So Podolak qualifies for Rio de Janeiro. She'll be representing Poland in the Olympic Games.
I am proud of my this ippon sainaga because that was for straight legs, and Newaza it was pretty clever. I'm very happy because it's my first Grand Prix medal, and this is the end of the Olympic qualifications, so it's a perfect time for gold.
With the media spotlight currently on Almaty, it's important to remember that judo has another role in society, as we found out when Judo for the World travelled to the town of Kilis on the Turkey-Syria border.
Türkiye'nin Kilis ilinde Suriye'nin sınırında sıfır noktasında judo antrenörlüğü yapmaktayım. Kilis'te bir günüm şu şekilde geçiyor. Saat 1'den sonra tamamen günüm judo olarak geçiyor. Ortaokula geçip oradaki 2 saatlik çalışmayı başlatıyorum.
Ailemden babam ayrı. Şu an biz babaannemgilde kalıyoruz. Annemle babam, annem her cuma günü arar bizi. Babam da bazenleri iş olmadığı günler arar. Judoya gelmek bana bunları hissettiriyor. Kendime güveniyorum, kendimi başarılı hissediyorum. Derslerime iyi katkı oluyor. Kızlar judoya gelmeli. Çünkü erkekler kendilerine karışamaz, hayatta istediklerini yapabilirler, özgür olurlar. Burada Suriyeli arkadaşlarım var. Bir tanesinin ismi Nur. Bununla her gün oyun oynuyoruz. Bazen ödevim olmadığı gün. Bir de onlar buraya gelmeseydi Suriye'de hayatlarını kaybedebilirlerdi ailesiyle. Ama buraya geldiler, hayatlarını kurtardılar.
Oradan sonra 5 ile 7 arası konteyner kentte, Suriyeli sınır sıfır noktasında olan konteyner kentteki Suriyeli çocuklara olan çalışmalarımızı devam ettiririm. Savaştan sonra birçok Suriyeli kardeşlerimiz misafir olarak geldiler. Bunların birçoğunu çocuklar oluşturuyordu. Kimisi annesini kaybetmiş, babasını kaybetmiş, akrabalarını kaybetmiş. Tamamen savaş travmasıyla buraya geldiler. Judo'nun bu noktada bu savaş travmasını atlatmaya yardımcı olacağını düşündük.
Yaşanan kötü olaylar bazen yeni umut, yeni bir fırsat olarak karşımıza çıkabiliyor. Şimdi savaş gibi kötü şartlardan kaçıp da ülkemize sığınan bu Suriyeli kardeşlerimiz sadece barınma boyutuna, yeme içme boyutundaki ihtiyaçları hallettikten sonra sosyal, kültürel ve sportif anlamda ihtiyaçların ortaya çıkabileceğini düşünerekten biz Öncü Pınar'daki alana girdik.
أبوي الله يرحمه كان يحبني إنه كان بده يسجلني هيك كمان جيدو بس ما حسن توفى من هيك حبيته. كنت قبل كل ما أروح أنزل هيك أشتري شي شغلة حد يتعرض لي أجي على البيت بكيان أبوي ينزعج شوي حب إنه هيك يعلمني إياه. صار لي جاي على المخيم 4 سنين. هجم الجيش على ضيعتنا أبوي الله يرحمه بعتنا.
يعني أنا من ناحية ابني إنه هو يعني عن جد يعني إنه هو شوي صعب. يعني سبحان الله إنه هو عنده نقطة ضعف أبوه يعني. وبعد ما توفى يعني صار كتير يعني كتير تغير. كتير. كان بده إياه يكون قوي الشخصية وقوي يعني بحب إنه يلعب هيك أحسن ما إنه يتقاتل مع حدا. أنا بقول إنه يعني بفضل يعني إنه هالطاقة اللي معه إنه يعني إنه كويس إنه أحسن ما يتشاكل مع حدا أو أي يعني شيء. أتمنى يطلع اللي بده إياه طبعاً. أتمنى يطلع دكتور ويرفع راسي وراس أبوه طبعاً.
بحس إنه هيك قوي شوي وبتمنى إنه يكون هيك مثل أبوي الزلمة وكمل دراستي وطبعاً بيفرحني وهيك بيوعيني أكتر.
أول أبوي مو كان له اسم عند النظام وقت صاروا بضيعتنا يحرقوا العالم في الأسيد وفي النار. أبوي هو وأخواتي الكبار طلعوا على لبنان ونحن وبيت خالتي طلعنا لهون. العيشة هون كويسة والحمد لله والأتراك كويسين كتير معنا. كان أول ما أجيت أنا على المخيم في عندي هن 2 هدول بعتبرهم مثل أخواتي. واحد اسمه محمد والتاني اسمه علي. علي راح على سوريا هلا وقتها جده توفى وهلا صار مول قصف على ضيعتهم هن هلا باركين على الحدود. بحزن كثير بقول يا ريت ما كان رايح على سوريا. انت سوريا مو هيك النزالية اللي بيروح خلاص ما بقى له رجعة. مثلا اول انا مفوت على الجيدو مثلا بكون مهموم بيجي لهون بالسلة وبصبر هاي هي وشي كويس. المدرب هو شي كويس إنه يعني أنا بحلم إني صير مثله، لقيته هو بيعلمنا إنه ما في شي مو كويس ضده، كله كويس. اللي بيحب الجيدو بقول له لا يتركه، بقول له خليه ويتدرب، بكرة بالأيام بيعرف إيش قيمة التدريب والتعليم. يعني انتوا بجوز بكرة نعدي بأيام العالم يعني ما يتعلموا ما يتدربوا، يعني شيء ما حدا شافه.
Bu çalışmayı diğer kamplarda da yapmak istiyoruz. Aynı zamanda Kilis merkezde bulunan Suriyeli yetim çocukların eğitim aldığı okulda da yapmak istiyoruz. Bu çocukların savaş travmasını atlatmaya yardımcı olduğunu düşünüyorum. Bu beni çok mutlu ediyor. Antrenmanlarda da o çocuklardaki gözündeki ışıkları görünce ayrıyeten haz alıp heyecanlanıyorum.
İnsanlar enerjilerini harcamak zorundalar. Spora harcamadığımız veya harcayamadığımız her enerji insanlara savaş ortamında tepkisel hareket olarak dönüyor. Onun için spor yapalım, savaşmayalım.
Returning our attention back to Almaty, at under 66 kilograms, this stunning Uchimata from Japan's Maruyama was enough for gold, as Kazakhstan's Smagalov had to settle for silver. At under 73 kilograms, Olympic champion Shavdatuashvili knew only a win would do, as his Olympic selection battle with Georgian teammate Tatalashvili comes down to the wire. He was explosive in his preliminaries and was clearly fired up for the challenge. And in the final, the Czech Republic's Jezek was blown away by a quick piece of thinking from the Georgian, pouncing in Newaza to secure the arm lock. Shavdatuashvili had the submission and the gold medal. The Georgians will now battle it out at the Masters for a spot in Rio. The 81 kilogram category once again saw the emotions of Olympic selection come bubbling to the surface, as Italy's Marconcini made the final, and in doing so, made his qualification for the Games almost certain, prompting tears from both athlete and coach. The final itself would see him defeated by young Cuban, Ivan Silva, whose gold here, combined with a bronze last week in Baku, meant he too would now be qualified, as the last-minute ranking drama of Almaty continued. A great result for Silva. There was a gold medal at under 90 kilograms for French number 2 Axel Clerget, who staked his claim for his injured compatriot Idia's place in Rio. The final saw him defeating China's Cheng, with a Harai Makikomi for Wazari landing him on top in a hold-down that he was able to maintain long enough to secure his first World Tour gold medal in the division. The win moved Clerget up to 18 in the world rankings, meaning a win at the World Masters could see him leapfrogging Idia at the very last moment. And finally, at over 100 kilograms, it was Georgia's Adam Okrashvili claiming the Almaty gold. He defeated Azerbaijan's Kokauri by Yuko in the final and topped the podium. Okrashvili's teammate Matiashvili took bronze, and did so in style, with this the number 3 on our list of the top ippons in Almaty. A fantastic standing Sianagi against Tunisia's Jabala, made all the more special by the sheer size of the athletes competing in judo's heaviest category. At number 2 was a moment for judo connoisseurs, as another Georgian, Levan Gugava, produced this incredibly skillful Uchimata counter to defeat Azerbaijan's Baba Kishiev. It was in mid-air that Gugava slipped his leg across his opponents to leave his attacking momentum working against him as he went over for ippon. A rare sight and a wonderful piece of action from Gugava. Finally, our top ippon saw Brazil's veteran Olympic and world medalist Guilherme rolling back the years to produce a moment of brilliance against Uzbek Sabirov. A truly sensational and classical Uchimata, which showed Guilherme is not finished in world judo just yet. And if he's still capable of this kind of form, who's to say he won't add a few more medals to his extensive collection before he retires? Our final category is the men's under 100 kilogram division, which saw Azerbaijan's former world champion Mammadov down on his luck as he entered Almaty. Already a veteran, the national selection decision is practically a foregone conclusion, as Azerbaijan are almost certain to go for the youth of their world number one, Gasimov. Mammadov's case was not helped by his showing on home soil last weekend, losing out to the division's new sensation, Kviniashvili, in emphatic fashion. But he was here in Almaty looking to make amends. An armlock against Kazakhstan's Serikbayev got him off to a good start. He then systematically demolished Uzbekistan's Kurbanov, scoring a Yuko, a Wazari, and finally Ippon with a strangulation technique. Mammadov finding the form that made him a world champion 3 years ago. His next contest saw a similar dismantling of Hungary's in-form Syrianic. Mammadov threw him 3 times, first for Wazari, then for Yuko, and finally for a second Wazari, securing a place in the final. Mammadov showing he still has what it takes to compete at the very highest level. His opponent in the final was Brazil's Buzzaccarini, himself on good form, as Iran's Javad Mahjoub found out in their quarter-final match when he found himself on the wrong end of this fabulous counter. He then defeated Cuba's world number 10 and top seed Jose Armenteros in the semi-final, with this Uranagi for Wazari. So, Buzzaccarini against Mammadov in the final. One last chance for Mammadov to prove his worth to the national selectors.
Buzzaccarini going forwards. Mammadov knows that he needs a good result here to stand any chance of going to the Olympic Games. He knows it's a tall order. Gasimov, the world number 1 from his country, is probably favourite, but he's not giving up, Mammadov. Buzzaccarini, of course, just ahead now, because that's a second penalty there to Mammadov. Buzzaccarini, 1 minute 25 to hold on to this. And he's got that Haraigoshi well and truly taped. Good ashiwaza there from Buzzaccarini. Just needs to waste a little bit of time. He's in control. There's a nice ashiwaza there. Almost takes him down. And of course, the coaches shouting advice. Look at that, 15 seconds to go. And it looks like Buzzaccarini's got it. Oh, no, it's not! He's gone down, so to Gary, and Mammadov has absolutely buried him. Look how emotional he is. He looked out on his feet, actually, to me. His condition certainly went in the second half of the contest, but, well, somebody who can throw, you can never write them off. So to Gary, right at the end. And look at that, they go absolutely mad. And it was an ashiwaza first, then the Osoto. And look at the control of the upper part of the body. Here's a Guruma, Osoto, and he literally places him onto his shoulder blades. He's up, Osoto, and he says, I've still got a chance of going to the Olympic Games. He's left it open now, that's for sure. What an amazing tournament this has been. Hearts have been broken and Olympic dreams have come true. Rio de Janeiro gets closer by the minute.
So, with Olympic qualification all but decided, next up it's the World Masters, Judo's elite, competing in Guadalajara, Mexico.